So you got a big fight coming up with Joanne Calderwood. Just like, what are your overall impressions of her as a fighter, and how do you feel about her as an opponent?
Yeah, you know, she's a great fighter. I saw her on The Ultimate Fighter. I was a little impressed with the way she fought and how she composed herself. She's definitely a great athlete for me and a formidable opponent. So I'm very much looking forward to this fight.
What's it mean for you to get a main event assignment this early in your career?
It's huge, you know, the opportunity to get main event. I definitely wasn't going to turn that down, you know, even though it's on Fight Pass. It's huge to be headlining my own event. It's unreal to me, and it still hasn't set in. And I've talked to a few of my teammates that obviously have been main events before, and they told me it's just a completely different feeling, and I can't wait to feel that.
Could you ever imagine, you know, when you first started your career, like just these, you know, being so young in your career to already be headlining a UFC event?
No, definitely not. And you know, even when I started MMA, I never knew this is where it would take me. And having all these amazing opportunities unfold has been just nothing but a blessing. So I'm really excited to see where my career takes me, and I'm very happy with the way my career has been so far.
The UFC have always, you know, obviously been touting you as this huge rising star. I mean, they put a lot of attention on you, but perhaps also a lot of pressure. How do you feel about all this attention they're giving you?
No, for me, I haven't felt necessarily a lot of pressure from the media attention, from anything the UFC's put on me. This is everything I can handle, and I absolutely love it. I can handle more if they wanted to throw it at me. So I love every second of it, and I've always known from a young age I was meant for the spotlight, and I didn't know what platform that would be, and it just happened to be MMA.
Yeah, you seem to really be taking all of this in stride, really embracing all of it. We've seen the videos this week, and where does that come from? Where does that confidence and that ability to take all of this spotlight, all of this pressure so easily and handle it so easily?
Yeah, you know, I would have to give a lot of thanks to actually my dance teachers. They definitely make you have a sense of professionalism, and I don't think people really understand how much of an athlete you have to be to do dance. And I was in it competitively. I did a little dance professionally, so it's definitely I would have to give them a little bit of thanks. They definitely They taught me how to compose myself. They taught me how to be in a professional setting, and definitely my parents.
So what kind of advice would you give someone like, you know, Sage Northcutt, who's young and brand new in the sports, getting a lot of attention? What kind of advice would you give him?
That's huge, you know, especially I saw as he put on an amazing performance tonight. He's only 19 years old, 2 years younger than me, which seems unreal. But, you know, it's exciting, and I would just tell him to embrace every second. This is a crazy journey, and you never know when it could end. And so for me, I just embrace every second, every opportunity that comes my way. Like, every media interview could be my last one. You never know what's going to happen. So I just like to enjoy every second of this ride.
Has there been a moment yet where you've been sat back and just been like, this is insane, this is crazy?
Yeah, you know, after I guess I had my first meeting with Lorenzo, and after getting out of that, I called my parents and I was like, holy cow, like what just happened? I just had a meeting with the owner of the UFC, and it's every little thing like that. I really have to try to make myself step back and step out of the fighter, step out of my career, and just look at everything I've accomplished, and it's just so amazing, and I'm just so blessed to be where I am.
So, you know, you defeated Alex Chambers in your last fight. I'm sure you've had time to look at it now. What do you feel you did well, and what do you feel you could improve upon?
You know, yeah, I definitely felt I did well in that fight. It came out with the win. I think looking at my performance, I wasn't really impressed with how I performed. I think I was a little bit too confident going into that fight. There was a lot of areas where I made mistakes because I was so confident. I didn't move my head. I was letting her hit me a few too many times without making a conscious decision to change position. I was able to come out with a win. It was a great win for me, and I was able to look at the tape and definitely correct myself and get ready for the next fight.
You mentioned that overconfidence. Was it just, you know, feeling great coming off your last performance? Maybe Alex isn't necessarily in the same rank as you, in the same range as you. Was it just sort of being a little bit like, maybe this is a fight that I should win and it won't be as hard as maybe it is?
You know, maybe it was that maybe I just wasn't putting as much pressure on myself to win the fight. I don't know. I think I definitely went into that fight very confident. And, you know, when I fought Felice, when I fought Kaylin Kern, I was very scared. You know, I was scared. I was very nervous to go into those fights. Obviously, Felice was a veteran in the sport. So, I mean, it was scary to fight her. She was someone I looked up to. So when I was able to pull off that win, and I went out there being careful a little. I mean, I'm really aggressive when I fight, so I don't look too cautious, but I definitely was a little more careful going into that fight. I was looking at her, she's someone that definitely looked like she could knock me out. So, I went into that one a little more hesitant, and maybe I need to bring it back, come back to my technique a little bit more.
Yeah, how do you make sure you don't have that against JoJo in December?
I think I need to be a little more confident in my technique. With Alex, I was hesitating going to the ground with her. You saw I stood her up a few times. I was hesitant going to the ground with her just because I knew she had a background. She had a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, and she held some championships in Australia, I believe. So I was hesitant to go to the ground with her. I stood her up, and I should have had a little more confidence in my groundwork, because that is where I feel really comfortable. I tend to take my fights to the ground, and I feel comfortable on top of people on the ground.
What was your take on Rose's win tonight over Angela?
Yeah, Rose's win, that was a great win for Rose. Congratulations. I definitely knew she was going to win that fight, though. I knew she had the upper hand in this fight, more experience, a little bit more technical. I saw that when she performed in the house, also when she performed on Invicta. I knew that was going to be a win for her, and congrats.
Thank you.
Thanks.